Shall I say, well, it's Monday.
It's Monday.
The start of a brand new week.
I don't know about
Is it going
this
to be
week.
better than last week? It can't be any worse. I really don't think so. Good morning, I'm Rayford Brown.
And good morning, I'm Lee Barrows.
And Lee already knows about it now. So, anyway.
Yeah,
heck
your
of a weekend.
story.
It was a heck of a weekend. Y'all don't want to hear it.
Repairs in the house.
I just want to say 2 companies in Jacksonville.
Yes.
One, he started the mess last Friday because he told me I had a problem, but it wasn't his problem. I had an HVAC unit that was kicking the breaker off last week. Turns out they're kicking the breaker off when it got down to really cold temperatures at night. Well, guess what we were having last week? Really cold temperatures,
Yes,
about
we
5 o'clock in the
were.
morning, 3 o'clock. And it popped a circuit breaker. So, by the time I get back out there after the show, everything's fine. No problem. But anyway, they came out and checked it. First time they checked it, couldn't find anything wrong. Second time they checked it, they came out and said, there is nothing wrong with the unit. However, my suspicions are that your circuit breaker out there is weak and it's just tripping the circuit breaker. When it starts drawing that extra current, well, guess what? That was the problem.
You tried to fix it.
The problem with the problem is I went and got a circuit breaker on Friday afternoon because those things are, you just don't find them everywhere.
Yeah,
it's a special
I can
breaker, 100
understand
amp
that.
breaker for a special unit. So I went to the place that has these things, and sure enough, of course, they've got them, and I got it. Brought it back Friday late, and I said, it's too late for me to get out there and tackle this critter.
Right.
It's not bad once you get everything apart, but getting everything apart and putting it back together
That's always the problem.
Pain. So I tackled it on Saturday after it warmed up a little bit. I got out there, and the minute that I took that panel apart, it's an outside panel.
Right.
The minute I took it apart, it came apart.
Oh.
And we were partially dark. Well, we were mostly dark. I looked at that thing and I said, and then I started examining some of those old circuit breakers. That wasn't just one that was bad. There were 3 that were broken. Parts of them were broken off. I said, enough of this. I did what a lot of doctors do. I pronounced it, I can't fix it.
Beyond my help.
Yeah. So I called my buddies John Stars Electric and Ethan on a Saturday. We have a guy on call. We'll send him out right out there. And I described to him what the problem was. He said, well, this is maybe a big undertaking then. I said, it's going to be a big undertaking. And he knew that I had some background in that area. Not that I couldn't have tackled, but I don't have the parts for them.
He saw that shotgun laying up against the walls. What he saw.
He keeps, John Star. I don't care whether the other wholesale places where you buy your supplies have it, they keep parts in stock.
Yes.
They've got their own warehouse out there. And where else am I going to go to get an entire panel, by the way, y'all, 200 amp panel? And with lots of wires and lots of stuff coming into it and trying to find one that has to fit the same location or close to it. Yep.
You're scaring everybody listening,
John Star's not a problem.
Please.
Took 4 of them out here.
Yes.
but they ripped that sucker off the wall delicately, and then put another one back up there delicately, and then it was time to
You didn't have
assemble
to
all the
cut
stuff.
the wall or make more room or
No, well, they had to modify
Right.
the fitting a little bit, but that was okay. That
Yeah.
was nothing for
I
them.
know
They got,
about modifying.
I was impressed. They had all the equipment, the cool stuff to do this with on their trucks.
Good people.
Yeah.
Good
So our
people.
driveway, and then dark came, and our house was dark, but we had flashing lights outside. It was an interesting evening. My nosy neighbors, of course.
You sent us, like I was telling Marty, you sent Kelly and I a message, Kelly and me, and we were like, I was like, what? I was like, it just sounds like a lot of mayhem over there.
It was, but anyway, in 3 minutes there, I told you a story that took 6 or 7 hours to complete.
Yes,
But I got lights.
and then you went quiet after that, and we're just like,
I was tired and
what's
cold.
going on? I bet.
Yeah, it took a while for the heat to come back on and get everything. It wasn't. The good thing is, it really wasn't cold while they were doing this. It was just a little breezy.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
So out working outside, I stayed outside the whole time. But I stood most of the time. That my legs were frozen, feet were frozen.
It's just like I didn't go out at all. Well,
I'm old and I can moan and groan and gripe and complain.
Early Saturday morning to meet my sister. She was going to one of the big stores. I said, "Oh, well, I'll meet you out there."
Mm-hmm.
So we did our shopping, and not that I really need anything, but I thought, let me just get some extra coffee and dog food. Those were my biggest staples, just in case the weather gets crazy, because you never know what to expect with the weather around here.
Yep.
So we did that, and so I was home, and my daughter and her family came over Sunday afternoon, and we went out to go eat. Celebration of my granddaughter's and mine birthday.
Happy birthday, belated again.
Well, yeah,
but I beat you to the punch on Friday.
I know. I snuck in here thinking.
Was I the first one?
It's Thursday. Yes.
Hot thing.
Well, I came in here. I had been really quiet about it being my birthday because I'm one of those that I don't want any fuss, And I walk in the door, and the first thing you do is hand me a birthday card. I was like, doggone it. I was trying to keep it quiet.
Well, Robbie and I, we got stuff that since our memory.
It was a beautiful card.
Like we have these issues, like we were talking about, remembering names, remembering events, remembering this, remembering that. So it all goes into the computer.
Yes.
And at that time, we still had the computers working.
And then Kelly sent me some beautiful flowers.
Oh, cool.
And look, I put them on the table and walked out of the room, and my little dog, my little rescue, kept barking and barking and barking. I'm like, what are you barking at? It was the flowers.
Something
I had to
different.
keep moving. Anytime you bring, I had a big pack of toilet paper that I brought in and sat down inside the,
And it was something strange.
And he just barked and barked. Oh, that dog is something else.
Oh, that's the same thing. Our Jake.
Yes, love Jake.
The neighbors had put up one of those little windmill things. Like they've got a small one over here.
Yes.
They got one over there, a little bit taller, about a foot or so. But when they put that thing in there and Jake's out there, everything was fine until the thing started turning. And he was out there. He was at the front window, and he would just bark. And what are you barking at? Nobody's out here. Nothing's going on. It was the windmill turning.
Well, that's like mine started squeaking and needed to be oil. And the dogs will go out and as it starts turning and squeaking, they're freaking out. So I had to get a ladder because mine's like 8 foot. Mine's real big. And so I had to take a ladder out there, climb up there and try to spray WD-40 while the wind was blowing. I was like,
get yourself some marine grease.
Oh, it's working fine now.
For a short while.
Yes.
WD-40 will wash off.
Right.
Okay. Get yourself some marine grease.
Okay.
It's for outboard motors and
I see. Yes.
It's meant to be in the water.
Mm-hmm.
And just put a little dab will do you right there.
Yes. That's
so whenever you want to do it next time, I'll give you a tube that I've got. It's a big tube.
Great.
You just take it there and take that thing up and put it around the shaft and be done with it.
Okay. I'll hold you to that. Then.
Okay. Just
but getting back to
there.
Sunday.
Yep.
So I bundled all up. I had a coat, scarf, all. Walked outside. It was like 60-something degrees, and I was peeling off clothes.
Yesterday was nice and warm, and glad
it was beautiful. Yes,
it saved the heat. That's the good thing.
Yes,
I guess I saved a lot of electricity for 6 or 7 hours on Saturday.
Oh, Charlotte just said it's 11 degrees where she's at, and with snow.
Charlotte, keep it.
Charlotte, yes. Charlotte Kelso. Hey, Charlotte.
Just keep it, Charlotte. We don't want it. You can have it.
Woo!
Been there, done that. Got the T-shirt. Hopefully, never again. But okay, we'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about the unknown
So
coming.
we got some things that are happening.
I'm excited today.
Why?
Start of a new 4 years.
Oh, that.
Today's the inauguration day. And so the word is Trump has said that he's going to sign 200 new executive orders today. This is going to be interesting.
I hope he's giving it some serious consideration, lots of thought here before he gets out and just goes.
Well,
crazy.
for all the TikTok lovers, TikTok is back on. So,
yeah.
Yeah. Well, so we'll see. But I did watch his rally last night. I'm sure you probably did not.
I did not.
There was a lot of entertainment on there. And look, the Village People came out. There was only one original member of the Village People that was there, and the others were stepped in. Yeah, he's a little up there. I mean, you're talking 30 years ago, but yeah, they performed, and that was a real crowd pleaser, and they were dancing. It was good, though. I mean, when you get to see somebody from way back that was grown up as a kid, everybody did the YMCA, so it was fun.
I didn't.
It was fun. Well, because you were busy chasing robbers and
no, whatever. I wasn't. I was busy shooting weddings, and they did that at every wedding reception that I did. And it's like, good God.
That's just like every wedding reception, every event that you have, and you've got music, you can always expect to hear the electric slide.
Oh, that was the other one.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
To some real stuff here. A cold front had moved into the area, moving down from Virginia overnight. Let's see. Temperature has been falling all since yesterday. We had a high of somewhere mid-60s yesterday.
Yes.
Temperature is supposed to be down to about 26 last night. It actually here at the studio this morning, it's been dropping and it's down to 24. We've got another reading, I think, at the air stations like 32 or 30 or something like that now.
That's about what it was at my house.
It's near the warm waters of the New River.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I don't think they're warm, but they are warmer.
I have a ditch behind my house. Does that count? It was like 32 when I left my house.
High pressure is settling in today. By midweek, another area of low pressure is expected to pass well offshore of the southeastern United States coastline. When they pass offshore, it's low pressure. Right. It's the kind of situation that has brought snow to coastal North Carolina in years past. At the least, the area is expected to bring some wintry precipitation of some kind, usually unusually cold temps, some winds, and the potential for freezing spray from breaking waves along the beaches.
Ooh, I'd love to be at the beach.
That when you get spray that freezes as it hits the cold air.
Yes. It's like pellets hitting you.
Yeah, it'll slap you. Yeah, so anyway, that's what we can look out for. Welcome to what might probably be best described as a wild and wacky week here in the United States. Around here, all eyes, of course, are on the weather, watching the rain before dawn yesterday. Did you hear all those things coming down? Hitting the roof out here, hitting the...
I heard nothing.
Okay, well, you don't hear anything. We got those sun things out there in there.
I have a metal roof that's on top of my old roof, so it insulates.
You're insulated from it.
I hear nothing.
We had a high temperature, somewhere mid-60s yesterday. I think in the area it was 69 was the high.
What?
Yeah, it was somewhere recorded.
Wow.
But the wind was blowing, so you didn't feel really warm. Overnight low, up until about 3 o'clock this morning, it was still right near freezing, and it's been dropping. Was expected to hit 26. It's now outside here 24. Going to get colder, much colder, as the week passes.
Very cold.
That isn't the biggest news we got going. In case y'all have been tuned out, the anticipation of cold and snow in the nation's capital moved today's inauguration ceremonies inside.
Yes.
No doubt that Secret Service is elated. Security was expected to be a It promises to be a fire and brimstone event as the new president will likely lay out plans to deal with illegal immigration, the economy, and definitely promising to deal with Mexico, Canada, Russia, Iran, China, and of course, those terrorists in Gaza.
Yes.
Hamas did release the names of some hostages they were preparing to release as part of the agreement with Israel. There were some delays over the weekend. They did get turned loose a few, right? I know
Right.
one.
Yeah, 3, I believe.
Three?
3, yes.
The delays irritated Israeli citizens, and President-elect Trump has made some harsh promises should the thugs not live up to their bargain. TikTok was no more in the U.S. It's been banned here, and investors were unhappy. Neither are a lot of TikTokers. They were pretty unhappy too, President-elect Trump, he's probably going to sign an executive order, take a look at the whole mess to see if there's anything that the social media monster can do to make it more palatable. I want to see what Trump's deal with them will be.
I agree with that. And yeah, I got to.
It's from China.
I got thinking about it. If we go against China right now, they could pull everything that they send over here.
They could.
And we're talking about medicines. We're talking about parts.
How long can they last without money from the United States buying their crap?
But I would hate to even go through a week of it. But I think that there needs to be some type of agreement worked out.
Sure.
We start pulling away from all these Chinese-made stuff and start opening our own factories.
We need to prepare in this country to be self-sustainable.
I agree.
Self-sustained.
I agree.
Otherwise, we can't do it completely, of course.
Right.
Congress took the steps dealing with TikTok because of concerns over national security, for one. It's a Chinese-owned company. They control what goes in, what comes out, and they can insert stuff in there anytime they want to. And they also, Congress was trying to provide a layer of safety for what our lawmakers said was a threat to Americans from fake reports. We know that was happening.
Yes,
right?
we do.
The president knows it was happening. It happened to him
right
4 years earlier.
Yes.
Mostly of that stuff was coming from foreign governments, and they called it propaganda. Well, the Chinese-owned company was told that the only way TikTok could remain available to U.S. subscribers was for the company to be sold. So maybe that's what's in part. Maybe we're going to buy it.
Well, I heard this morning
our government doesn't buy
that
TikTok.
The United States had an investor that was going to go 50%. Don't know. It's just what was said this morning.
Well, guess who is real good buddies with Donald Trump these days?
The China.
An individual.
Yes. I can't tell you.
Mr. Musk.
Oh, you're talking about Elon?
Oh
yeah. Oh yeah.
He's got money to burn.
Yeah, but I don't. Well, there were several.
Several places.
Billionaires here in the United States that were talking about getting together and buying it. But right now, the latest word this morning, according to Fox News, so if I'm wrong, they're wrong. They're saying that they had an investor that was willing to go 50% with, China over it. So
go 51%.
I would.
Don't get 50% on anything. Take controlling interest.
The one thing that upset me was they were talking about, because Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, was talking about how bad TikTok was, and it was leading kids to do crazy things.
Leading adults to do crazy things.
Yes. But let me tell you that Facebook, how many times have we talked about stories where somebody committed suicide live on Facebook, or somebody killed somebody live on Facebook?
Yep.
And Instagram is just the same. And so is Facebook Reels. So it's not just TikTok, it's all these social media platforms.
We call what foreign governments do, putting out fake information and stuff like that, we call it propaganda, right?
Right.
The world of propaganda is one that all governments to some extent participate in. In the United States, we participate in it.
Right.
We've got Chamber of Commerce. We hear the Chambers of Commerce report. They ignore the bad things, right?
Right.
They only put out the good things about an area. That's what they're there for.
That's right.
They don't want to know about shark bites at the beach. They don't want to hear about rip currents.
No.
didn't want to talk about hurricanes.
Right.
That's not what they do. They put out good stuff. You call it what you want. It's basically propaganda.
Right.
So everybody participates in it.
Yes. Good point.
The United States has used multi-million watt radio stations. We got one in Greenville to broadcast our version of the truth to listeners around the world.
Correct.
It and similar stations transmit over what is called the Voice of America network. Not the kind of propaganda that Radio Moscow sends out, of course. They've got these big stations too. But those stations get in the middle of the ham bands and start infringing upon ham radio operators in this country. And then they keep moving frequencies because hams can move around and get other channels. But depending upon what time of the day or night or who they want to hit, they will switch frequencies on a heartbeat and transmit their version of the truth to the United States and elsewhere. It's like, what was her name? Tokyo Rose during World War II?
Oh, you're talking about Jane?
No,
Tokyo Rose.
Tokyo Rose put out stuff on radio
Right.
aimed at U.S. troops trying to demoralize them, talking
Right.
about, the Germans were overpowering them. We were going to take them down, yada, 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 yada. Germans in the European conflict, also out of Japan. Same stuff.
Right.
TikTok and other internet-based platforms are different. Hard to control them, hard to stop them.
Exactly.
The Voice of America stations here definitely counter what other governments say about the United States. Must be working because so many folks from everywhere have chosen to come here looking for a better place, right?
Right.
So our Voice of America is like a chamber of commerce as far as some of these other people are concerned in other parts of the world. We tell the people, our Chamber of Commerce will tell the people how great the weather is here, how great the people are here, how great the beaches are here, how great we are, how great everything is here. That's what they do. And that's what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
You can call it advertising. Advertising can be called propaganda.
Promotion. I mean, we promote
It's promotions.
our area.
We promote us here. We promote products by selling commercials. That's what we do.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah,
But
we're not going to sit there
when
and
you start
promote
putting
it.
out fake news in an effort to destroy a company or an organization or a government,
Right.
when you start putting that out there, that's propaganda.
Yeah. Well,
At
there's been
best, that's
plenty of that
propaganda.
the last 4 years. Plenty of that. And,
Yeah.
I
8
sit
years.
back and I listen and I watch now that things have flipped over to this side. And
Yeah.
it kind of makes you wonder if some of the things that you heard back then maybe weren't.
Well,
True.
they've been debunked. A whole
Oh,
bunch of stuff
yes.
has been debunked.
Yes.
All
But
political organizations use, both the Democrats and the
Right.
Republicans use it. So, you got to be able to sort through it and
I
get rid
just-
of the
I just feel like
filter
it
through the crap.
really got out of hand.
It did.
It
Well,
really
some
got
of it
out
was
of hand.
meant to hurt, not to build up your guy.
Right.
If you build up your company or you say how good you do things and how good this is and yada 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 yada, here is our track record. Here's what we sell. This is why this product we think is better than other products.
Right.
That's advertising.
That's right.
That's promotion.
That's right.
But when you start going in there saying, you know what, that company over there, that XYZ company, it's not like us. We're ABC. It's not like us. We provide you a quality product. Look what the crap that they give you. That's when you step over the line, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think that
if yours won't stand up by itself without putting somebody else's product down, then there's a problem.
Well,
that's no good.
I just feel like there was a lot of stepping over the line, and what it caused was such a division in
It
this
did.
nation,
We're
a
still-
division
we're
amongst
still
the
there.
parties, the political parties, a division amongst people in general.
Oh yeah.
And I just hope that we all start to come together now. I don't know that will ever happen.
Yep. Well, before we do weather, I'll just make a quick comment too.
Yes.
It's like political campaigns and businesses, they come up with something really cute. We're live and local, right?
Right.
We are awake, never woke.
That's right.
We are us. That's what we're here. We're Real Talk. Okay, that's our kind of our signature stuff. MAGA, Make America Great Again. It wasn't even MAGA. Trump didn't say MAGA. He came Make America Great Again.
That's
then
right.
people abbreviated it, and they and then it became a bad thing because the other side, they decided to go after it and use that and make that a bad word.
Right.
Huh?
There was a lot of
It's
disparity
kind of like
over the last 4 years.
Homosexual individuals, when the
Right.
word gay was used, it became suddenly a bad, awful thing
Right.
among the other parts of the people in this country and other parts of the world. Oh, he's gay. Growing up, gay was a great word for me.
Yeah.
Everybody was happy.
Happy and
That's
gay.
what it meant. And then suddenly, I was in the middle of things, and one day, I think it was in the 60s when I first heard gay as being a negative thing. I was like,
Right.
what? When did this happen?
Well, that's like, I have to tell you later of a comment I made. It was completely innocent. And my family walked away from me. You had to have been there, but yeah. And it might sound inappropriate to people listening. So remind me and I'll tell you later what I did. But
I'll have to write it down to remind you.
You have to be so careful of everything you say these days.
Why should you have to be that way?
Exactly. And what I said was absolutely 100% or more innocent.
Uh-huh.
But they just walked away from me when I said it. And I go, what? And they go, But yeah, well, but just an example of you have to be careful of everything you say these days.
You do. Of course, we're sort of unfiltered here. We say things, and it's okay. You guys want to chat this morning? We're going to do weather right now, but we're wide open. We have nobody coming in today, right?
No one.
And Kelly's not here, by the way, in case y'all didn't pick up on it.
Kelly.
She's up in the land where it's really cold and going to get really.
She texted last night. She said, it's cold.
Well, it's going to get colder.
I said, go get warm.
Who forced her to go up there?
She had family business there. She'll be back today.
She could have picked the summertime to do it.
Well, you can't always schedule things like that.
Skype it in, Zooming in, or what? I'm kidding.
Sure she didn't want to go, but she had to take care of family stuff.
Just kidding. So. Offshore today, northerly winds 15 to 20 knots with gusts to 30 knots, becoming northwesterly 10 to 15 this afternoon. Seas 4 to 6 feet. They'll come down a little bit, 2 to 4 in the afternoon. Sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop this afternoon. Tomorrow, northerly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25, seas 3 to 4, 2 to 3 near shore, but don't even think about it. Trying to get out through the inlet would be awful. And besides that, the rest of the weather is going to be awful too. Sounds and rivers choppy, a slight chance of rain in the morning, then a chance of rain and snow in the afternoon near shore and along the beaches. We're going to have snow women built on the beach again, aren't we? That's what I remember about the snow in '89. They were doing at Carolina Beach. They built snow women right there on the beach.
That's a good idea.
There you go.
If we get enough snow, I'm going to make a snow woman in my yard.
Anatomically correct.
Well, yeah.
Barbie anatomically correct.
Why not? We see nothing but snow men. I think it's disgraceful. We need a snow woman, guys.
Wednesday, northerly winds 20 to 25 knots, gust up to 35, seas 4 to 6 feet, 2 to 3 near shore. Sounds and rivers rough. A chance of snow and rain still a threat in the morning.
And today will be sunny with a high near 39. Northwest winds 7 to 10 with gusts as high as 17 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 16. Tuesday, a slight chance of snow after 1 p.m., increasing clouds with a high near 35. Tuesday night, snow likely, mainly before 1 a.m., cloudy with a low around 23. Wednesday, a slight chance of snow before noon, mostly sunny with a high near 33. And you know what? I thought about just writing up a whole fake weather report.
Sunny!
Because it has been so up and down the last week or so, It's like, we sent you a thing Saturday night or Saturday. It was showing 6 to 8 inches here. And then as of yesterday afternoon, it was showing nothing. Yeah. And now it's back 1 to 3. Yeah. And we're just like, my sister called me. She
just goes, when it falls down,
yes,
measure it if you're so intent on knowing how much it's going to be.
Well, at that time, the forming, not even the area was just forming in the Gulf, and it's got a long ways to go. Yeah. So, but my sister asked me yesterday, what's the latest on the news and on the weather? And I said, we're either going to have some snow flurries or we're going to have a hurricane. I don't know.
Yeah, or nothing.
So nothing.
It could turn sunny and, whatever. I don't have a clue.
Right.
Weather, and nothing against the meteorologists around here or anywhere else. Coastal North Carolina, especially from south of Cape Lookout all the way down to the Cape Fear region. This Onslow Bay area, it juts inward. If you look at a map, it curves way inward.
That's right.
30 miles or so.
Yes.
You draw a straight line on your map. Go ahead and pick a map out. Draw a straight line from Cape Lookout down all the way to Cape Fear. All right. When you draw that straight line, and then look at that big body of water in there called Onslow Bay. That's what it's called. That is very difficult to predict what the weather's going to be. A cold front, a low pressure system right along the beach. Nothing. But out offshore just a little bit of that low pressure system could create all sorts of hate and discontent here on the beach, on the coastal area. So it's tough for them to predict it. They probably should develop a course in meteorology just for people to study this region.
Well, I knew something was strange because Saturday, all the meteorologists, the TV stations, the meteorologists that I follow were all saying, we're going to get 6 to 8. It's going to be historical and blah, blah, blah. And by Sunday, when I turn on the local news, not a word.
Well, see, here's the problem that I have. When the things change like that and they're no longer predicting any snow or there's a trace of snow and we suddenly get 6 inches of snow and it's like, oh, God. And that can happen.
Right.
Because it depends upon which way.
And it could be
which way the wind blows.
Right. It could be a shift at the last minute. You never know.
When you got coming on shore. When you've got a shift of 2 or 3 degrees.
Right.
That is
big
huge
difference.
By the time you get out 50 miles or so.
Well, I think what I'm more worried about is the chance of ice because now they're talking Thursday, Friday night, a little bit of ice.
We got more. This is the second system that Chris Marks and I talked about earlier this month.
That's right.
We predicted too.
Well, yeah, I predicted the 23rd because everything I had been following was pointing towards that direction.
I'm not predicting anything. I'm just doing the math. It's about time we got something because we haven't had anything.
Well, what I was seeing, they were talking about all the fronts coming down from Canada.
You're trying to put science in it. It won't work.
That's what I was listening to, all the scientific stuff. So if you look at my little prediction right here that I wrote down, let me see if I can find it. I mean, all 3 of us technically are right because let me see.
That means we're all technically wrong.
I know I kept it.
Not anymore. I tore it out.
No, I just cleaned out the book this morning. Here it is right here. Snow predictions 2025. Rayford, January, mid-January. December, a light dusting. You got the December. Well, it wasn't really a dusting. It was a few flurries.
It was further west.
Chris, January through February. Lee, mid-January through February. I wrote it down.
After today's changing of the guard in Washington, the weather's going to change. President Joe Biden will take his last flight on Marine One out to Andrews Air Force Base, then board one of the presidential jets for his trip home to Delaware. Assuming, of course, that flying conditions will allow it.
That's true.
He'll be taken care of. Plenty of money coming in. Not sure about speaking engagements, given his issues over the past couple of years, but likely some personal appearances are in his future. A lot different than it was in 1953. I did a little look back.
Oh, good.
A guy named Harry Truman, he had decided not to run for re-election in February of that year, of 52. And Dwight Eisenhower ran. Then won. But in 1953, after the inauguration, Harry and his wife, Bess, packed their car. They packed their car. They drove away from the White House and headed west to his home in Independence, Missouri. He had a small pension for his service in the Army, but former presidents at that time were not entitled to benefits, including a pension. 5 years later, in 1958, Congress authorized an annual pension for former presidents. Truman was not wealthy, never was. He had to sell some of his property that he had inherited after he left Washington because he didn't leave Washington with any money. He turned down several offers from large companies saying they did not want Harry. He said they don't really want Harry Truman as an employee. They wanted former President Harry Truman for his name and his rank. And when it came to requests for commercials and endorsements, he turned all of those down. He said the office of president could not be bought, even after he was gone.
Wow.
Looking back to former presidents and the prices they get for speaking engagements these days, looking at the business dealings that we learn of later, not because they have anything to offer companies who are offering those deals to them, but because they can sell their title for ungodly amounts of money just to be there. We've got the former president of the United States. We've got the former vice president of the United States' son sitting on our board of directors. We've got this. Look at what we've got. It's not for sale, folks, but apparently some people are selling it. So now we begin the next 4 years. Already there are efforts to put up roadblocks for everything that Trump wants to do that requires congressional approval. No doubt there will be efforts to stop his plans to deport illegals and send them home. For one, I do not think the United States taxpayers should be forced to pay airfare for the illegals. Many of those are from China, Iran, Turkey, countries far and wide, a long ways from here. At most, we should pay for a bus ride from wherever they're picked up back to their point of entry into the United States. In the vast majority of the cases, that's going to be along the Mexican border. We get them back to where they jumped off at to come into the United States. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Your free ride is over.
Yeah, exactly.
Those coming from Canada, we've got too many of them coming through across the Canadian border too. Same thing. Back to the northern border you go, Canada, they're yours. You let them get this far, you take them back. I feel sympathy, yes, for some of the illegals. It's our fault they're here, though. Our fault because of lax border security under numerous presidents. Not one, not two, but a bunch of them. But during the obvious open border policies of Obama and Biden, the problem became an epidemic. And it's going to be painful for a lot of those who were sold a bill of goods, those that we now call illegals, the coyotes milking them for every dime they could get, the rapes, the robberies, the murders of so many hoping to get to America. But we cannot continue with the same weak immigration policies we use now. We should go back to a quota plan, at best.
Right.
One that allows only qualified foreigners to move here. What are you going to do for me? What can we do for you in exchange? And we need to tighten up the work and student visas. This is a big problem, y'all. We have no idea how many of those people who came here legally with visas to either work or go to school in this country are still here. They're here. Their visas have expired. That's a problem. What do we do about them? They came here legally, but they stayed illegally. So therefore, they are now illegal aliens. To me, it's a simple matter.
Well, you know, ICE was going to start rounding up these people, and somehow their information of where they were going and where they would be got leaked. So now they're having to revamp everything. But I think they're supposed to start today, aren't they?
ISIS?
ICE, yes.
ICE. Oh, I thought you said ISIS.
Oh, no. ICE.
ICE will start rounding up the illegals that are criminals.
Right.
That we know they're criminals. Some of them are in jails across this country right now.
Right.
You got illegals that are in jail for crimes that they have committed in this country, awaiting trial. And we have some folks, the higher ups in those governments, state, city, county governments across the country saying, what, you can't touch them. They belong to us.
Right.
Well, yes, we can. Federal law can trump your stuff, pardon that pun, but federal law can trump your stuff right now. We're going to take them and we're going to kick them out of the country. That's where they need to go.
Pretty good pun. I'm excited. I'm so
I
excited.
I hope they will do it. And it's not that they're going to go door to door, stormtroopers. I don't think. I hope not.
Right.
There are plenty of, if you look at things like most cops look at things, let's go after some low hanging fruit anytime we need to, get our quota filled.
Really? Seriously, they do that?
Yeah, there's no real quota anymore. They can write as many tickets as they want.
And we have Miss Meredith calling us.
Is she calling us now?
Yes, from Grants Creek Nursery.
Oh, really?
Yes, remember we needed some information about what to do about our plants during all this cold weather.
Well, it's cold weather out
We
there.
have the lady who knows on the phone now.
Meredith Kroom, good morning. Are you cold yet?
Oh man, I'm ready for summer. I don't like this weather. I'm not built for this.
That's a lot of work
I'm not
out
either.
there too, trying to keep everything warm.
It's hard to plants around that big old 40 acres you've got out there in a bathing suit this time of year, isn't it?
Well, I save naked gardening for one day a year. We've discussed this. And then, but yeah, for sure. This is not,
This
bikini season weather in there.
this would just not be real good for naked gardening. Let's explain to folks before we get in trouble what naked gardening is all about. One day a year.
What?
One day a year, you sponsor one, right?
Yeah, sure.
Is it three? No, seriously, there is a naked gardening day.
Yeah, it's a national, I don't want to say a national holiday, but it's just, one of those days of the year on the calendar.
My privacy fence is not tall enough for that.
A day of observance, shall we say, or observation.
Right.
God,
That's
Lord.
observation.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, it happens. We'll get back to that when it gets warmer. Right now, it's going to be colder than blazes, and it's already pretty chilly. And we've had some very cold temperatures, down 12 degrees here one morning. And we're going to have some wind chills down in the teens this week. Ouch. The lows are going to be in the teens pretty much every night. Highs are going to be in the 30s, they hope. That's going to be a mess for some
it
gardening.
It makes for interesting care of plants this time of year. But, a lot of people need to remember because, even though we're in a season where you don't have to water your plants as much, especially if it's newly installed plants, because honestly, fall and winter are the best times of year to plant here when it comes to, shrubs and trees. But don't overlook the power of watering your plants. A lot of people, it seems backwards, but when we come into really cold temperatures like this, we make sure that we water all of the plants very, very well. So especially if you have things that might be on that thin line of being cold hardy here in eastern North Carolina, oleanders, some palm trees. Those are the two that are just kind of coming to mind right now. Make sure you water those in really good. That water in the root system will help insulate it. And as long as the root system is healthy, the plant can bounce back from a whole lot. So you might, have some burn back on the top side of the plant, but as long as that root system is healthy. A couple of other things that you can do to help protect the top side of the plant above the ground is keeping it covered. Don't use plastic trash bags. Those can burn like the next day if it starts to heat up. Those can cause some scald. Things like burlap, bed sheets, towels, sackcloth, any of that stuff, something that's going to be breathable. Out here, if you've been in the nursery at all, we have these, it's called, we call it saran, but it's like a black mesh material. You'll see a lot of people use it to cover their greenhouses to provide shade, but that's also the same thing that we use to cover the plants.
We got to get some of that this year too.
I'm so glad that you mentioned all that, because the last time that we had you call in, you said that to water the plants really good. It helps insulate them, you know, and I'd forgotten. So thank you for reminding us on that.
Now,
Yeah, the biggest thing is, you know, along with this really cold weather, a lot of times comes a lot of wind, and we saw some of that last night. And
Yeah.
that wind will dry out the ground just as fast as a 90-degree day in August will. So, you know, it seems our minds don't necessarily work that way, but it really does. The wind creates a lot of havoc when it comes to drying out that surface and that moisture from the ground. So keeping those plants watered really does make a big difference. And then things when you've got like taller palm trees that you might be worried about. Single palms do pretty good around here. Sago palms are the ones that are marginal. Those are the ones that you'll see. They look more short, squatty, and they've got like spines almost. Those tend to pretty much almost every single year, they'll brown out. So I wouldn't be super concerned. If you are, just cover it. That will probably help insulate it some as we go through the next several days. During the day, take those covers off, let it get the warm sunshine. And then before we go back into freezing temperatures in the night, you can cover it back up. But for tall things like your sable palm trees, they typically do okay whenever we have a day or two here that's below 30, you know, somewhere in the 20s or something like that. If we're getting consecutive days, especially consecutive weeks of in the teens and 20s, you want to put some heat lamps on those palm trees. Either wrap them in Christmas lights, put some heat lamps on them, make sure that they're mulched in really good. So, you know, hardwood mulch, pine straw, whatever. We have those items here at the nursery as well. And, you know, just make sure that you've got a nice fluffy layer of mulch around that to help insulate that root as well.
Now, a lot of people will go out and you see it for sale too. Bales of pine straw. Is that
Wheat
any
straw.
good?
Wheat straw.
Wheat straw, go to wheat straw, not pine straw, right?
Well, no, okay, so I'm sorry, I might be getting confused. I see a lot of wheat straw sales right now because people are buying it to bed their animals with.
Yes.
But yes, pine straw as well. Pine straw is what you want to use around your plants.
Oh,
pine
okay.
straw or mulch.
So you can do that. Okay. I didn't know whether that was good or bad for you. Now, I remember 1989 when we had that extremely cold weather, and it was 0 in Wilmington on Christmas morning at 6 o'clock. I know that record still stands. But I know that summer, prior to the spring and summer in 1989, one town in the area called Carolina Beach, they decided it would be a cool thing to go buy a bunch of tall pine trees. They bought these $500-$600 pine trees to line the entrance to Carolina Beach.
Pine trees?
Not pine trees, palm trees. Palm trees.
Okay, that sounds
big, expensive ones.
right.
Guess what all died? They have very thin bark, don't they?
Well, it's not that. It's more of whether the palm tree they bought was was cold hardy enough for our area.
It was 0 in the morning, and it was for several days. It was bitterly cold, and this stuff came straight from Florida.
Probably most likely, right. That's probably most likely what happened was they had a palm tree that was marginal when it came to cold hardiness, and then we had consecutive days. So about 8 or 9 years ago now, I think we had about a week to 2 week stint in January that we had really cold temperatures, consecutive days, and we lost all of our sable palm trees. We lost a lot of pindo palm trees.
Wow. I need to cover them.
And those are typically two varieties that we consider cold hardy for our area because we don't get down to those temperatures often, and especially not in longer duration.
Okay, now this week, folks, it's the temperature is going to be down in the teens at nighttime, down to 10, 12, 14, whatever. But there's going to be some single-digit wind chill factors. Does wind chill actually play an effect here when they get down that low?
I mean, it can when it comes to like foliage up top above the ground. It can definitely cause some burn. Yeah.
Okay, wrap them up. hadn't thought about the burlap. You can buy burlap by rolls at times at some places, right?
Would you please don't go do that for me?
No.
Yeah, we
just need a
actually
piece.
we sell burlap here in like 8x8 sheets.
Okay.
Oh, that's
So they're
good.
not stacked. They're just already like they look like a bed sheet almost.
Good.
For people to use whenever they're leaving the nursery with plants in the back of their vehicle that they might want to cover up. So something like that. But like I said, a bed sheet, a towel. We've got oh gosh, what do they call it? The floating cloth, like you put over the top of your raised vegetable or your vegetable garden bed.
Right.
When we're getting close to if you frost in the spring, we've got a bunch of that here as well. So it doesn't, it can be a tarp. I don't necessarily recommend a tarp, but if you're going to use tarp material, just make sure when you get up in the morning, you go take that off during the, the peak hours of the day so that it's not getting burned. It's not causing burn to the plant. And then you can cover it back up at night. But definitely, like, plastic trash bags are a big no-no for me. So.
Yeah, they don't breathe.
Interesting, yes. Good information.
Need something to let air in there too, for sure.
Yes.
Ground temperatures, as long as you kind of keep things mulched and you keep the plants wrapped as well, the ground temperature, we generally don't get down to a freeze line of 2 inches below the surface. If it's, I mean, when it gets down deeper, it won't freeze here too often, right?
Right, and that's one of the reasons why we can landscape all year long and install plants still even in the winter, because we don't have a deep frozen surface, so to speak. But yeah, we typically don't freeze that deep, maybe an inch. I can't, I'm not the one out there who's digging all the time like Philip and the guys are, but 2 inches is pretty deep so far as what I'm concerned
with.
It is. So in a lot of your plant material, the root systems on those, your shrubs or your trees are way below that freeze line. They can tolerate it, obviously, because plants grow up north than, everywhere else, but they can tolerate it. It's just going to be more about what the cold hardiness zone of that plant is. Again, that's the reason why we don't plant tropicals in the yard. That freeze line is going to be very narrow, so to speak, and it's going to heat up during the day most of the time. Like, even though the the air temperatures are, even though the air temperatures are really low, when that sun hits that surface level, as long as it's not in the shade, obviously, it's going to warm up fairly quickly.
Sure.
And making sure that your plants are, again, watered in, that's going to create more insulation. Making sure that they're well mulched, that's going to create more insulation. So just make sure you're doing all of those things, especially for your marginal plants. The things out there like boxwoods and hollies and nandinas and our typical stuff, we don't usually see issues with that. The issues that we have here at the nursery is because they're above ground in pots, and the pots will freeze. That's why it's so much more important for us when we're irrigating in the winter is to create the insulation. So when the pot freezes, those roots are insulated. That's why you see us pull cover over them in the fields. That's why they're in the white cold frame greenhouses to help keep those pots from freezing. But like I said, as long as the root system is good and insulated, the remainder of your plant above ground should do well or should recover well.
Now, this is the time of year we're getting, believe it or not, guys, it's the 20th of January, and it's not that far because we will start getting some plants around here. We get a warm week, a warm 3 or 4 days, early February, we do every year, and things start blooming or budding out. And then along comes that dude called frost and freezing temperatures at nighttime, and you got plants that are budding. That's a problem, a potential problem, right?
Yeah, it is, because the sap's obviously starting to rise because it's the warm weather. And then you've got young, new growth on plants. And so that is really honestly when we start getting worried. That's when you'll see people in the green industry panic, is when, there's to form buds on trees, and then
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden we'll go from 2 or 3 weeks of 65, 75-degree weather in February, and then we get to the beginning of March, and we're going to see one night of like 25, and we will scramble.
I will bet.
Again,
Wow.
yeah, doing all the same stuff that we're doing now, making sure everything's watered in good, making sure that it's covered. Some of it you just can't help. I mean, that's Mother Nature. You just kind of roll with the punches. You trim off the bad looking stuff early spring and go on.
And do like football coaches do. Wait till next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so- all right. Let's in a couple of weeks or so. Let's talk about some preps for our yards and gardens as we do head forward. Because folks, it's only 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I guess it is. Well, I guess it's close to 8 weeks, 7 or 8 weeks until spring.
Which was next week.
Yeah.
And you know, we're going to have to don't wait until the last minute to start getting your garden area, your plots ready, and start working on either seeds or think about what plants you want to put here and there. Let's do some advanced planning. How's that, Meredith? We'll do that in a couple of weeks.
That sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for all your knowledge and suggestions and
Yep.
what we need to do.
Yeah, garden. Meredith Kroom, Grants Creek Garden Center, right
Grants
off
Creek
of
Nursery, right?
Grants
up.
Creek
Mhm.
Nursery, right off
Yeah.
of Old 30. Go down, you'll find Grants Creek Road on your GPS. If you don't know where, take a left. You will find the nursery. You
Yeah,
cannot
just go all
miss
the way
the
down.
nursery. You got
Mhm.
40 acres.
Yeah.
A big old place.
And for those listening,
That's right.
I posted her website on our Facebook and
Yeah, very
YouTube.
good.
Click right on that. And if you have questions, I'm sure Meredith will be happy to answer them for you.
Meredith, you got any special, things that are coming up? I know every year in the past, you've had things like you're going to go, people bring their chickens or chicks or whatever, and they sell them, or their ducks or eggs or whatever. Do you have any of those special events coming up?
We don't have any of those plans out right now. We will be having some specials coming up for Valentine's Day. A lot of the girls, we have a really big houseplant community around here, and the ladies love getting houseplants for Valentine's Day. And we're going to be putting together some houseplant cutting bouquets. So we'll go around and take cuttings off of the plants that we have here, make little bouquets out of them.
Oh.
And so, they can come buy them and take them home and root their own house plants.
That's interesting.
Oh, Robbie and I need to go.
That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good.
She
Good.
loves plants too.
She does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's
Look
smart.
at the yard. You'll see.
Yes.
And the house.
Yes.
Everything from pineapple plants to whatever is growing around
Yeah,
here.
I've got my pineapple plants growing good too.
I think we got 15. All right.
No, you have 14 now.
Well, we'll have some more. Meredith Kroom, Grants
Thank you
Creek
so
Nursery.
much.
Thank you.
All right, good. Bye, guys.
You take care. Great information.
Oh, yes.
and I've known her for about 7 or 8 years now, and they got a great place out there.
Oh, they
They're
do.
willing to talk with you. You've got a problem. You take pictures of whatever your problem is.
Right.
Go in there. They've got stuff in there that they can provide you to help
And
you with it.
inside the store,
Inside
they
the
have
store,
so much.
yeah,
And then
all right,
on
so-
the porch area, they have all these pots and different containers.
Uh-huh.
And the last time I went, I just kept walking.
You say they're selling pot out there, right?
Not that kind of pot. Pot.
That's what I'm talking-
Containers.
That's what I was talking about. The pots
Yes.
out there. they're selling.
Yes, right. It's the way you said that.
Well, it's the way you took it. I know where your mind was.
Well,
Well, okay, so that's some good stuff there, and we'll have her in
Yes.
here a couple of weeks.
no, she reminded me because I do have one sago palm that's doing very, very good, is growing.
Until tonight.
So I need to cover that.
Yes, you do.
And I'll just use an old bed sheet or something for right now.
Do you have any electric blankets?
No.
I was going to suggest put those out there and watch out for the rain and
They're
snow.
so
Those-
heavy though.
Yeah, especially when they get wet.
I'll just use a bed sheet like she said for right now until
I'm
it
kidding
gets
about the
warm.
electric blanket, guys. Don't do that, okay? Electricity, water, snow becomes water. It's not a good plan.
That's right. But I have 2 other sago palms that I've started in a pot. I'm just going to bring the pots in.
They must be
The
short palms.
containers. Yeah, one's kind of big, but The leaves on it, which are real sharp, brittle needles, they've already turned brown from the. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it in.
Trim off the brown spots.
Yeah, I'm not going to work. I'll just wait till spring when it starts growing new. But
answer me this.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Okay, guys. I haven't heard from anybody. What's wrong with y'all?
Oh no, but I have something else I want to talk about.
910-333-0139. 910-333-0139.
Right. Today is not only Inauguration Day.
Yes, it isn't.
Today is the it's the remembrance of the birthday of Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, well, no, let me go back up here. My page jumped on me. I'm so sorry. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of his creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. That was probably his most famous line ever in his speech. Absolutely. Most notable. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at a table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
We've come a long way since he penned those words.
Yes.
And we still have pockets. I don't want to call it. I do not see systemic racism in this country.
Right.
I see pockets of racism. I see leftovers, and I'm not damning the individuals who grew up in a situation with their forefathers in somewhat racist ideology.
Right.
I cannot blame them for that.
Mm-hmm.
They have just got to merge with the rest of society. The vast majority of this country does not feel that way. There will be pockets of it on both sides of the aisle, by the way, and I'm not talking about Democrats and Republicans. I'm talking about blacks and whites. There are pockets of racism on both sides.
Yes.
I told you about a comic that I don't think is very funny anymore, Dave Chappelle.
Right.
I cannot stand him. If I could ban him from my TV, I would do that. I ban him by the remote control, I can tell you that. He's a racist. He's a shock racist.
Right.
I don't like that. But when we have individuals, whether they're black or white, or Asian, or brown, we have pockets on all sides in this country.
I think we always will.
We always will, but we're weeding them out slowly, too slowly, but we're weeding out. It's got to go. And if you hear a white guy spewing racist words and don't say anything about it, or you laugh, it's probably a nervous laugh if you're not racist yourself. If you laugh and you think it's funny and, oh my, you don't find it offensive, then you might take a look in the mirror and see if there's a big old R painted on your forehead.
Right, right.
If you're black and you routinely denigrate your people and call them the N-word, call your children the N-word, call white people the N-word, which happens with David Chappelle.
Right.
If you do that, then you could be a racist. You likely are. It may be deeply embedded in you, but you are a racist.
Well, like you said,
it's not funny.
He's a shock type
I
comedian.
don't care.
But we're never going to get past this if we all don't stop.
When he had multi levels of people in an audience and he was doing this shock, what do you think they were seeing when they walked out of that audience? That 10,000 people that were in there. What do you think they thought? What do you think they called each other?
Yeah, I just think until we all on both sides stop, you know,
It's going to have to be across the board.
I don't care for that type of comedy
It's not
either.
comedy. It's shock. And I'm not going to do
it.
It's ugly, among other things. Theo, today's your day. How are you?
Deplorables, what's going on?
Oh, it's Monday.
Is gerrymandering racist?
No, I
depends upon how the gerrymandering goes. It may be.
It does, huh?
Hold on just a minute. May I explain before you jump all over me? Gerrymandering to me is you try to stack a community with Republicans or Democrats. You only carve out an area that are with Republicans in it. That's gerrymandering, or only with Democrats in it. That's gerrymandering. Not with black or white. That would be racist. I agree with you. But if you do it based upon only their political leanings, that's not racism. Go ahead.
2 judges the last few years proved that gerrymandering was targeting the black community. Okay? That's racist. Now, you can spiel all you want about what you think is racist, but when a whole state goes gerrymandering and the judges tell you that you're targeting the blacks. Okay, now let's move on.
No, let me just bring up this one for you while you're there before we get anywhere else. Jacksonville. Back in the 80s, 80s or 90s, Jacksonville went to the for city council elections. They went to what they call the ward or the district system. You had individuals that would run from one of 4 wards, and then there were 2 at large, right? Yeah, they were run from one of 4 wards. There were 4 different districts in Onslow County, Jacksonville, right? So you had to live in this particular district. One of those districts was downtown. At the time they carved this out, the downtown population was virtually 90% black, those who lived there, not those who worked there or owned businesses, but probably 90% African American in the downtown area. They did say that, well, we didn't do it that way. We did it because we included Camp Lejeune in that district. Nobody from Camp Lejeune votes local district. We understand that. Not many. So therefore, this district in downtown Jacksonville was carved out to ensure, and it was that way for a long time, that an African American would be elected. Is that gerrymandering?
Do we want to talk about the definition of gerrymandering?
Is that gerrymandering, Theo? Does that mean when you carve out a district so that you guarantee that the individual living in that district is going to be black? Is that gerrymandering?
I don't know what was going on at that time. I wasn't here. Martin Luther King, all right, made a speech, okay, and you just said that that there's pockets here and there. That's a whole state. That's not a pocket. That's a whole state gerrymandering now in the last 4 years now. Okay? What happened then, it was a different mentality. We're talking about now. Okay?
Now, what are you talking about an entire state? You're talking about for House districts or something?
Gerrymandering. The whole state is gerrymandering. And 2 judges came out and said, you're targeting the black people. Simple as that. Okay, I don't know what pockets you're talking about. Yeah, you mean the far right?
No. I'm talking about blacks and whites and Asians and brown.
Okay. Well, Latinos. You're targeting the browns because the immigration, you're going to take a whole mess of brown people and send them back. So you're targeting them too. But anyway, listen, 4 years ago, we had an insurrection in the Capitol. Today, you're going to have inauguration. Now, the millionaires and the billionaires want to be inside because it's going to be too cold for them. And all of us, me, you, and the other people that are going to the inauguration will be outside in the cold. So, Lee, why don't you find out for us, when Jimmy Carter was inaugurated, what the temperature was. Find out when Obama and 2 million people showed up, what the temperature was. And then find out when J.F. Kennedy got inaugurated, what the temperature was. And why these millionaires and billionaires are going to be inside. They're making fools of us, after that insurrection, they're going to have the inauguration inside because they don't want to get cold. Okay? And another thing, Lee, when you want this country to get together, look in the mirror. You know who you picked, right? Last time you mentioned Trump and Newsom, you called him new scum. That's what he calls people.
I did not.
How are we going to stick together when he calls people names? Why can't he just go on and talk normally? Why does he have to call him new scum? So getting this country together is going to take a long time, at least 4 years, because this is going to carry on for a long time. Okay? And I guess that's what I got today.
Well, you know what?
So calling us deplorables every day when you call in.
Oh.
That's just a joke.
Oh,
you
okay.
know that.
Okay.
That's just a joke. We've been doing it for years.
Well, I call you adorable.
You know that. What do you call me?
I call you adorable.
Okay. We call each other, but he means what he says.
Okay.
Okay? That's not a joke.
Okay, just want to make sure people understand we're friends and that you don't mean anything by calling us deplorable.
Okay. Look, he's calling the governor of California that has 39 million people, which is one of the most populous states in the country. He's calling them new scum. Okay? How's he going to make me like him when he does that? Tell me, Lee.
Well, that's what we were just talking earlier, Theo, about the way that people have changed over the years. Like Rayford was talking about the comedian who likes to blast racial
comedians are comedians.
epithets.
We're talking about the president. You voted him for the president of the United States.
All right? You know what, Theo? It is what it is. Let's just wait and see what he's going to do.
Okay, we're not going to do anything, but I'm going to set you straight when you come up with these comments. Have a good day.
Okay, I don't think, Lee, you ever called
I never called him. No, I would never do that.
No, she didn't call him.
Oh, okay.
She said what Trump called him.
Yes. Which, Theo, I have to agree with you. That was improper.
That's improper.
But that's Trump. I can't control what comes out
Trump. You put this man, knowing the way he was, okay? That's not... Never mind. You got me all upset already. I got to go have a drink.
Oh, Theo, go get some orange juice.
Juice or some...
Is Kelly going to be there tomorrow?
We think.
Listen, did you ask Dr. Rose what I asked you to ask her about RFK Jr. getting into the health department and that he was against...
No.
We got into something called RSV this time last week.
Quademic.
That was 2 weeks ago. Remember, listen...
We've got Wednesday coming up. We got Wednesday coming up, and Kelly and Lee's got it written down to talk to about RFK.
Stop playing games.
I'm not playing games.
We wrote it down. Kelly said we wrote it down.
We
did.
Didn't
forget all about it.
Nope, we didn't forget.
You got to honor your station, okay? If I ask you a question, ask the question. That was 2 weeks ago. Okay, yeah, good. What good is that?
Well, we had her.
You are something else, let me tell you.
We had her last week, and we did. We got into something that was very serious. It was
Quademic.
It was very breaking news at that point in time, and it was impacting a whole lot of people in this country.
We still have time. He's not in there yet, Theo. We have time.
Okay. So we'll wait and see if you're going to ask him this question. We're going to wait another 3 weeks.
I don't even think he's going to be in there, to be honest with you, unless they just capitulate on it or something. I don't think so.
It depends on what the Republican side does.
I just don't. I don't see him doing that. First of all, I don't think there are that many Republicans that would trust him being a presidential candidate to begin with as a Democrat and then changing colors because he couldn't get the nomination. So I don't.
We'll see.
I just don't. I mean, if I was a devout Republican, I wouldn't.
Lee, don't forget to get those degrees on the inaugurations and let the people know.
I have the story up. Yeah, we'll get to it after the weather.
Pulling it up.
Thank you.
All right, got it up. And just real quick,
Mr. Adorable.
Okay.
According to Wikipedia, the definition of gerrymandering. In representative electoral systems, gerrymandering is the political manipulation of electoral district boundaries to advantage a party or socioeconomic class.
Okay, that would be the both of those who apply.
Yes.
in downtown Jacksonville.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Right.
So it was gerrymandered.
Well, yeah.
Not legally, but not according to the legal definition, because you still had that same number of population through then that Ward 1, but it was aboard Camp Lejeune people that don't vote.
But I see what
come
they
on.
did when they
It was a scam.
Instead of going like this, if I was redrawn districts, I would go this way to where each ward or each
Had the
area
same number of
would
people.
pick up a little bit of the base.
Yeah.
And so what they did was they incorporated the base to run it all the way down into JA1, which is downtown, Jacksonville 01, and they ran it like that. Me, which it's a little messy doing it, but I would have run it to where this precinct picks up a little bit of Lejeune here. This one picks up a little bit of Lejeune there.
Mhm.
And it is a lot of manipulation and stuff.
Divide up equally the number of people that are not going to be voting
Because
to go everywhere.
the base has,
Yeah.
as Chris Marks calling it, the base has very, like you said, not many people on the base votes. There
Not
are
locally.
people who live there permanently that are retired military, etc. And there was properties rented out there to the general
Uh-huh.
public at one time.
You're talking about
So-
what, a dozen people, 50, 100 people.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how many voters from that area. I mean, you can find out, but I'm not going to.
The man, my firewood man, came through Friday. Chris Marks. Good morning, Chris. How are you? It felt
Good
so
morning,
comfortable
Ray.
having that spare bunch of firewood ready to. And beginning tonight, it's gonna be lit up.
It's going to get a
Light
little
it
chilly. Yeah. I miss my days with a fireplace, but it was
Yeah,
good seeing you, Miss Robbie, and well, you had your hands full that day. But it was, yeah, it was good. It was good seeing you both. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna get some fun weather. Nothing bad. And fortunately for the county schools, they already had Tuesday and Wednesday off for teachers' work day. So we'll just see if they get anything else in the rest
Well,
of
let's
the
see.
week.
Are they off on Martin Luther King Day? Today's that.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
a holiday.
So they're off
They
Monday,
got a 5-day.
And
Yeah,
aren't they
5-day
off?
weekend.
and they're off tomorrow.
Somebody said they were off tomorrow for Teachers' Work Day.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow and
Yeah.
Wednesday. I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
can't verify
Tuesday
that.
and Wednesday.
Otherwise, either
Yeah.
Teachers'
There
Work
you
Day or
go.
it's gonna be weather day, one or the other. I mean, your choice.
Well, with the teachers' work day, I guess it's built in. But now they miss Thursday and Friday.
Mhm.
The kids are gonna have to miss those for. But you know what? It's better they're safe.
Yes, it is.
than trying to get on some of these roads.
Those will take
but it goes.
Doesn't take but one school bus sliding off an icy road to create a whole bunch of problems. With 72
Yeah.
kids on board, give me a break. That's not going to set
Oh,
well
God.
anywhere.
No, and being up from New York, a long time ago, and having driven in snow, I love the people of Onslow County, but most don't know how to drive in snow, much less ice. Nobody knows how to drive in black ice.
No, you
don't see it. So everybody, just be careful. Some people will go out and want to have some joyous rides and do what it's like to drive in snow. Well,
let me explain to some of you folks out there with your cute little typical what would be considered normal cars or trucks, little trucks and stuff like that. Even if you have that extra little device called 4-wheel drive installed on it, you have any idea how many of those in 1989 that I had to pull out of the snow? They had 4-wheel drive.
Well, they weren't driving cautiously, though. They were just like zooming along, thinking
No,
I've
they
got
were
forward.
bogged down with 15 inches of snow under them, and
Well, that's
their vehicles did not ride on top of the snow. Their vehicles tried to plow their way through the snow, and after a while, that doesn't work. So I don't care if you got 4-wheel drive. If you get some snow on the ground of any consequence, you're gonna get stuck.
yeah,
Right.
Jordan, our son, back from Wisconsin, a year in Wisconsin, but he was there his first day there. He said, "Dad, I've seen more snow in one day than I have in the whole year." And he goes, "I don't care if these people don't like it or not. Coming home from work, he was driving 10 miles an hour. he got home safe.
Yep.
And I hope the rest of them did. But anyway, I wanted to just share some good news with you folks.
Okay.
Of course, Friday at midnight was the deadline for the 5 for 2.
I've been waiting for the
And
report.
thanks to you. Thanks for you folks and the rest of the group, as I call them. We achieved at this point 650 of 1,000 REITs that have been bought so far.
That's great.
So
Wow.
I want to say thanks once again to Live and Local Real Talk for allowing me to come on, and talk about it. And had some people yesterday calling me, and I tried to get them in, but when they said midnight, they meant midnight. So right now, we're still plugging along. Our group is plugging along.
Nice.
You folks are helping. We're doing right now the you buy 2, you get 1 free.
Right. Well, that was a good deal in itself.
$34 to get you 3.
Yes.
That
yes.
was.
I mean, you get 3 for $34 instead of 2 for $34.
Yeah, I purchased some more Friday.
So let's say
Yeah.
that's about $11 a piece instead of $17 a piece. Duh.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's do the math on it, y'all.
We're going to get it done. We've got the fundraisers coming up. I did want to mention again. Lee knows this lady, Debbie Vickers. Yeah, she herself.
She's a cardinal.
I'm not picking on anybody or calling because everybody helped. Everybody helped. She did 100. What did I tell you, Lee? 100 and
No.
Yes.
herself.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. And she lives in Wilmington, but she's a friend. She's a graduate of Jacksonville.
That's right. She's a cardinal.
She's a cardinal. Forward ever, backward never is what we do. And it's just been great. And I hope the businesses will take the next 10 months and maybe consider helping out some. Still working on these other projects for the show. So I just wanted to thank everybody.
We talked about that this weekend, and I had 2 sets of contractors over this weekend, and that was mentioned twice. We got to get her done.
Well, we're going to get her done.
If you've jinxed the rest of us in any way, Rayford, so help me. I'm going to come back in here and beat you.
What did I do?
Talking about all your issues with the heat and everything, and you just jinxed us.
It's all right. I know people you can call. I got people.
Thank goodness.
And they give me a commission for everybody I sent. No, I'm just kidding about that part. Maybe.
That was a nice guy when he came around and said, "So which one am I working on?" I went, "I don't know. Grab a piece of wood and if you want." But
yeah, Chris was unloading wood here when the first guy came in and said, what am I taking a look at here?
that was fun. Bless your whole heart.
Well, bless you.
But anyway, just wanted to thank everybody once again for this and for your efforts and your help, and of course, Live and Local Real Talk. And
we're here for you
as well for weather. I appreciate it, guys.
Right.
God have a blessed
Thank
day.
you, Chris. Talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, bye-bye.
Wow. It's fantastic on the raise. But in answer to Theo's question, 2021, Joseph Biden was 42 degrees. It was winds gusting at 28 miles per hour at noontime. Snow flurries. Obama 2013.
For Biden, there was snow flurries?
Yes.
At 42 degrees?
Yes, but the winds were gusting around 28 miles per hour at noon. Snow flurries around 11 a.m., but over before the swearing-in ceremony. Donald Trump in 2017, 48 degrees. 2013, Barack Obama, 45 degrees. In 2009, Barack Obama, it was 28 degrees with winds gusting 20 to 25.
Any snow?
No. 2005, George Bush, 35 degrees. Already had an inch of snow on the ground. 2001, George Bush, 36 degrees. 1997, Bill Clinton, 34 degrees. And who was the other one? He said Jimmy Carter, 1977. Jimmy Carter, 28 degrees, cold and sunny.
Now, Reagan, when he came in, they had to move it inside.
Yes, Reagan. That was right here. It was 7 degrees, sunny but bitter cold. Wind temperatures fell into minus 10 to minus 20 degrees. Now, originally, a couple days ago, They were talking that with the wind chill, the temperature was supposed to be like 10 or 12 degrees.
The wind chill factor.
Yes, with the wind chill factor,
Mhm.
10 to 12 degrees in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
And of course, they had a snowstorm come through and they were expecting more snow. So I really don't have a problem with it being moved inside. A lot of the people that got tickets, they didn't pay for those tickets. They got them and they're just standing outside watching.
Mhm.
They still have the opportunity to go outside and watch it on the big screens. Me personally, I'd rather stay at home, avoid the crowd, avoid the weather, and watch it on TV.
I don't care if it's 80 degrees. I'm not going.
Well,
I don't do the crowds, number one.
John F. Kennedy, 1961. It was 22 degrees. Snow fell in the early morning, left 8 inches on the ground.
They didn't have another opportunity to move it either. That
And
came
he
suddenly.
actually, if I remember correctly, he rode in in an open vehicle. No, there was one day. There was one time he was out there. He only served once. Who did I read was
I don't know,
riding?
but I was watching that one. I was over at Clyder in elementary school, and we watched it on the TV.
Right,
TV about 12 inches
right.
for a
22
whole
degrees.
auditorium.
You know, if it falls below 50, I'm staying home anyway.
Yeah.
Franklin D. Roosevelt, 1941, 29 degrees Fahrenheit, sunny, but with a cold, brisk wind. The wind chill was at 10 degrees.
Mm-hmm. Okie dokie, offshore today.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
do it. Northerly winds 15 to 20 knots, gusts to 30 knots, becoming northwesterly 10 to 15 this afternoon. Seas 4
no.
to 6 feet. They might come down this afternoon, but getting out there is still going to be sloppy. Sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop this afternoon. Why would you even want to chance it too with the weather kind of in a changing pattern here? We don't know. Tomorrow, northerly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25, seas 3 to 4 feet, 2 to 3 near shore, sounds and rivers choppy. A slight chance of rain in the morning, then a chance of rain and snow in the afternoon near shore and along the beaches. Wednesday, northerly winds 20 to 25 knots with gusts to 25 to 35, seas 4 to 6 feet, 2 to 3 near shore after you braid the inlet. Don't. Sounds and rivers rough, a chance of snow and rain still a threat in the morning. And is it today? This area, we're expected to get wintry precipitation of some kind, unusually cold temperatures, as we know, blustery winds over the next couple of days or so, and the potential, if you happen to get out on the water, I don't know why, or if you happen to be walking the beaches out there, I know a lot of people like to do that when the ocean is rough and everything, but the way the winds are going to be blowing, it's going to put up this spray. We know how the spray is, right? But there's a good chance that spray is going to freeze as it comes off the water. When you get cold temperatures that cold and the wind like it is, that spray could become ice. So be prepared for it. Ski mask time.
Whew, talk about a facial. All right. Are you complete? Did you finish? Okay. Today, in honor of Martin Luther King, it's a holiday today where it's going to be sunny with a high near 39. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 16. Tuesday, a slight chance of snow in the afternoon, increasing clouds with a high near 35. Tuesday night, snow likely, mainly before 1 a.m., cloudy with a low around 23. Chance of precipitation is at 60%. Wednesday, a slight chance of snow before noon, mostly sunny with a high near 33. And Wednesday night, partly cloudy with a low around 18.
Okay, answer me this one.
It's
not a real. Why does one of the entertainers performing at the inauguration this year find it necessary to defend his actions to accept the invitation? Rapper Nelly is apparently catching a little flack for deciding that, yes, I'll accept that invitation. He said he will support the president and compared singing for a presidential event isn't a lot different than fighting in the armed forces. Huh?
What?
I got confused when I read it, but he's right.
confused.
Nelly explained that members of the military fight for the country and its leader and not for the man who sits in the Oval Office. Why would people give him grief? Because he's a rapper? And I don't mean people of his own kind, so to
Right.
speak, they're giving him grief. You accepted an invitation to perform rap music at the inauguration. Choice of entertainers for the event covers a lot of choices, a lot of potential there. Not everyone likes all kinds of music. I remember way back when Jimmy Carter, he selected Charlie Daniels
Oh, love me
to
some
perform at
Charlie.
his inauguration. Not a big surprise, though, but those who considered themselves high class were critical of the country boy from North Carolina. They just put up a lot of big stink. Why you get this hick from North Carolina to perform at an inauguration, you peanut farmer?
What?
That's what they were saying to Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
As the president, he chose Charlie
That's
Daniels.
rude.
He liked the music.
It's rough. Gosh.
Why are people so
Excuse me.
critical of situations like that, so judgmental about
Well,
what
if
others like?
you had watched the rally last night,
I did not.
Kid Rock came out, and I love me
I
some
heard.
Kid Rock. He sang songs that he had written that were like Let's Go Brandon and some other stuff in it. No bad words, but
Yeah.
he also did some rap,
Mhm.
and he also did some borderline heavy metal. I mean,
Really?
all the songs were good to
From Kid
me.
Rock?
Kid Rock did.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, he sings a little bit of everything. He sings country. And then you had Lee Greenwood, of course. And then you had the Village People, of course. And you had
One of
the opera singer.
Rest
What
of
was
the
his
newcomers.
name? What's the name of the opera singer? Then I'll look it up.
I couldn't pronounce it.
Which I think he is fabulous. So you had a variety of music, but you have to remember, if it was your inauguration, would you be picking who you wanted to see?
Absolutely. Beach Boys, here I come. I want you.
Oh
I
my
like the
gosh.
Beach Boys. Guess who else I would have?
Who was that?
We talked about her last week, a week before. Do 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 do.
Oh, Petula.
Petula Clark.
Christopher Macchio is the opera
Okay.
singer. I'm sorry.
Still don't know him.
Yeah, but yeah, you're all about Petunia. We know that no matter
Petula.
whatever.
Clark.
But anyway, we know that when your day comes, your service, we're going to bring her up out of we're going to have her there, whether it's by tape.
Oh, no, she'll be live. If I'm elected president, she'll be there.
Yeah. But
Do I have to run or
they
stay elected?
let me see.
It's kind of like buying a lottery ticket. I've got to buy a ticket before I can win, right?
Right.
So I would have to run before I could win.
Well, it's just like in
Dang
in 2021, Lady Gaga sung the national anthem at President Biden's inauguration. And I love Lady Gaga.
Oh,
Did I judge her because she sung at President Biden's inauguration?
I saw that performance and I was like blown away.
She is a fabulous singer.
Yes.
I think so. And but why do people have to put so much into? It's just like a recent caller. Because I might have voted Republican, why do I have to take so much grief for it?
No, well, I voted as an American. Sorry.
Oh, there you go. But because, I mean, and it's just like these people. Carrie Underwood is already taking a lot of slack because she's going to sing at the inauguration. So,
Yeah.
and that's just like Taylor Swift took a whole bunch of flack when she came out to support Harris. So, it's her right.
You can do that if you want to. I don't really care. I don't pay a lot of attention to entertainers, to athletes who are entertainers.
Right.
I don't pay any attention to that. I don't put any stock into who they support.
That's right.
I just want them to play football, basketball, baseball,
Right.
whatever. And I want them to sing and them to sing good and keep me entertained.
I will say the entertainment they had last night at the rally was very entertaining. I thought they all did a great job.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I was a singer, which I'm not, if I was
You're a dancer.
If I was an artist and somebody asked me to come sing at something like that, you think I'm not going to take the opportunity? No.
If I can do it.
Right. It's publicity for
Yeah.
you for one thing. Plus you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
And it's what you do. You love doing it. And these people that are coming down so hard on some of these artists, how dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you go sing there?
Yeah. They're just jealous.
Get over it.
They're just jealous that they
Yes.
didn't get chosen.
Yes.
What's up with Megyn Kelly?
I love Megyn Kelly. Go ahead. What have you got to
She
say?
took on Trump when she was
That's
something
right.
at
We
Fox
talked
News,
about
and then
that,
she fell. I seem to recall calling her and a few others
Mm-hmm.
at that time too big for the britches.
Yep.
I
As he
mentioned
does
that.
most
And
everybody.
I thought she was too big for her britches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a celebrated podcaster with a ship full of followers,
Over 3 million.
I said ship full of followers, she seems to be buttering up the almost president. At one event, the blonde news bombshells started thanking big name supporters of Kamala Harris. Without their help, she said, Harris might have become president. Without the help of all the people that supported Kamala Harris, the so-called big names, they didn't carry any weight, apparently. I have to agree with her.
I do
Without
too.
their help to help Harris, she helped her finish second.
Right.
Tell me what she's doing today. Is she looking for a position with Trump's administration? Can she
No.
type?
No.
Maybe she could do something like rewriting press releases. Seems fishy that she has suddenly seen the light, become a valuable Trump friend, or maybe she's looking for a scandal, something undercover that she could reveal to the world. Maybe she's a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Hmm.
Y'all got thoughts? 910-333-0139.
Less of my thoughts. When she worked for Fox,
Mm-hmm.
she was very limited on what she could say or do because she was working
did
for
it
a
anyway.
network. Her and Trump had a falling out. She
Mm-hmm.
said some very disparaging things about him as he did her. They eventually sat down and talked one day, got it all aired out.
Mm-hmm.
She became a Trump
Hugs,
supporter
hugs,
and a
hugs.
Trump fan. Well, it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
As far as kissing the ring in order to try to get a position with the White House, I don't see that happening. She has started her own podcast. She has over 3.5 million followers.
Uh-huh.
She gets paid for what she does through donations and other stuff. She has a lot of great guests on
Is
her
it for
show.
her quality or for her name?
She's very outspoken now.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people like that. And I wasn't a huge Megyn Kelly fan,
Mm-hmm.
but I started following her podcast. Some of it's kind of like, wow, out there. And other is just her telling it, her opinion, like what it is. I like her. I do.
Okay. Don't get me wrong. She's not the only celebrity in the media to make that leap.
Right.
Everyone seems to be jumping on board the Trump train these days. Some, no doubt, see a good thing
Right.
in reality, something that might even propel them into something bigger in the coming months, the coming years, hoping a network would see an advantage they have in being close to Trump, always hoping that he'll set up place for them at the dinner table. I think that's what they want to do. They want to just be around what they consider a very popular guy because he won the popular vote. He won the electoral vote. So he's the most popular of all those who ran, right?
Right.
So why not buddy up to him? Say, hey, honey, how you doing? Love you. Mean it.
Well, I think we've all in one way or another have changed a lot of our opinions over the last couple of years. Just
Of
with-
Trump?
I wouldn't necessarily. Well, I look at it this way. This is what I'm trying to say. I didn't vote for him in the primary. I was kind of done with the bad boy attitude, the arrogance, the talking crudely about everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we got closer to the election,
There was someone else.
yeah, primarily yes.
I
Plus
know
the
what you were
fact
doing.
that I think he really does have good intentions on turning this country around. That was my main focus. We have to turn the country around. And does that mean putting up with some of his craziness or his remorse? So be it. But let's see what happens this
You got to
first
take
year.
the bad with the good, y'all. And some of it's going to be bad. Some of it's going to be good. amazing that the first of the hostages taken by Hamas are being released.
Right.
Okay? Well, think about the date, okay? Think about this date.
Yes.
Part of a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. The amazing part, perhaps it's just a coincidence, is that they were released the day before Donald Trump is scheduled to take office. More are going to be released. Kind of like the day that Ronald Reagan was inaugurated, way back in 19.
That was against when he ran against Jimmy Carter, right?
When he beat Jimmy Carter.
Yes.
The day he was inaugurated, Tehran released all of the hostages it had taken when it took over the American embassy several years earlier. Perhaps we should have soldiers carrying Reagan and Trump flags when they're going into battle.
Why?
Along with the U.S. flag. We're going into battle. And look what y'all going to have to face. We're the country of Trump and Reagan.
Right.
Whatever it takes, we need to gain the respect of other nations and instill fear in the hearts of our enemies. We need to make them fear us. If they are our enemy and they have any desires at any time, any moment to come in to do bad things in this country,
right? Yeah,
they need to fear us. I don't want your respect. In a case like that, your respect will change. Your fear of us should be instilled. It should be there. I don't care. How about the women? How about those women out there? How about you women out there? Can I do battle with women right now? May as well. I'm not outnumbered right now, so I just 1-on-1. Dr. Jill Biden, soon to be the ex-First Lady, taking a few blasts since last November at another woman in Joe Biden's life, Nancy Pelosi. They've known Joe about the same amount of time. Did you know that? Yeah, 80, a long time.
I'm sure
50 years.
They were all in Congress together, weren't they?
Yeah. It's a well-known fact. Finally, that good old Nancy was part of the delegation that convinced the president that he should step aside and back away from running for re-election. The delegation was right, but about 6 months too late. Joe had already gotten the Democrats' nomination, not because he was a great president, nor even a mediocre candidate for re-election. Against Trump, for some reason, the DNC thought he would be a shoo-in. He beat him one time, why not again? Then there was that debate between Biden and Trump. And even Trump took more penny on Biden than did the First Lady, Pelosi, or the DNC.
Mm-hmm.
Else too. The debate, for those who have tried to forget, was a disaster. After a bit, the president conceded, assuming that everyone was right. He pulled out of the race. In his second sentence, and I'll always believe that the DNC did not see it coming, Biden threw his full support behind his vice president, Kamala Harris. At the time, she scored lower in the ratings than Biden did. So was it a shot between the eyes from the outgoing president, the lame duck? Did old Joe figure that he'd show his naysayers and do exactly what he's done since the November election? He's told everyone that he could have beaten Trump. After all, he did it once. Begs the question, could he have?
What else would
Could
you
he have?
expect him
We'll
to
never
say?
know. We will never know now because Kamala didn't. Now Pelosi's daughter is making the rounds. Fed up with Dr. Jill's attacks on Mama Pelosi, Alexandra called out the First Lady and suggested Lady McBiden should think about President Biden's legacy. She told a reporter that, her words, there aren't that many people left in America who have something nice to say about Joe Biden, and Nancy Pelosi is one of them. After Harris lost in November, Pelosi said that Biden should have dropped out sooner. Yep. Biden has himself said that he should not have dropped out at all, that he was in good shape and feels certain he would have beaten Trump. Not sure what the president meant, but at a church in South Carolina just yesterday, he said that he was in good shape and that he was not going to get out of public life, that he intended to stick around. Personally, I hope he does, in a limited way only. That might give him some purpose. And this has been his life for more than 50 years now, being in the public's eye. Everyone needs something to do, even if you voluntarily put in your papers or whether you're put out to pasture. Tear down the fence, Joe. Give them something to talk about. just don't overexert yourself and don't treat anything too seriously. I don't want you, you need some kind of a purpose. Get out there, go in the public's eye.
Right,
That's okay. I got no problem with it. I hope you do.
We have
Just
Steve on the
limit
phone.
it. Just limit what you do. Steve, what's up? Friday is coming.
Good morning. yeah, that's coming. Yeah.
I'm like, why Friday? I get it now. Okay.
We may have a little bit of a leftover something on the
You
ground.
might have to
never
put
can
your
tell.
ice skates on.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I don't really think they know what's going to happen. With
Amen.
the
Of course
weather
they
these
don't.
days. It sounds like they're trying to. Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to predict where they're going to see Elvis at next.
He's going to be out on the beach building a snowman.
That's the way I feel about it, Steve. My sister asked me.
There you go.
My sister asked me yesterday what was the latest. I said a few flurries or a hurricane. I'm not really sure because the weather has jumped up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's a matter of when it gets here, you'll get here.
Yeah, just go with the flow.
Just be prepared, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. I'm sure it'll be pretty.
Yeah, pretty messy, pretty sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's on your mind
Yeah.
other than the weather?
Oh, well, I was listening to your commentary this morning, and I guess today we're going to be signing in a new president, swearing in a new president, I guess we should say. And I've said it before, I won't say it again. I hope that all the naysayers like me turn out to be wrong about him, and all the supporters turn out to be right about Trump.
I'm hoping to.
I think more people like me are going to be right than either one of the aforementioned groups. But
well, yeah, I mean, honestly, I hope that people like me are wrong, because if we turn out to be right, we all lose. If the supporters turn out to be right, we all win. And I'd rather see me be wrong and America win than me be right.
And that's a great attitude.
That's a good attitude.
That's a great attitude.
About this.
Yeah,
I really want to be wrong about everything I believe. But,
I'm in that third
anyway.
category. I'm the guarded category. I'm just,
Well, we're all
I don't
guarded.
know. I don't know. So I'm guarded.
We're all guarded.
Yeah, well, I think that's a very
Excuse me.
adequate statement. Is that none of us really know.
Nope.
Right.
This is kind of a roll of the dice. We are in uncharted territory, whether you agree with it or not.
We are
swearing in a convicted felon today to be president.
Yep.
Even if you think he was unjustly, prosecuted on that one, and even that one of all the things that happened, I think was trivial. But anyway, it still is uncharted territory. We've never done this before, so I believe history is going to look back on it as a significant, marking history. But that being said, I always hope best for our country. God bless America, and hope that the next 4 years are uneventful.
I'm right there with you.
I hope it's back to boring politics.
That would be great, right? The only thing that I can say, in the case of either Biden, who was not a bad man, okay? He never did a whole lot of anything as a senator, but he wasn't a bad person. He didn't do much as vice president. None of them do. Hello, it's a title. But he was not a bad man. But during his presidency, he was not what we needed. We were at a time of crisis. We had this pandemic that nobody could predict that. I mean, good God. But neither he nor Trump nor anybody else that I know of could have handled that probably any differently than he did, than it was handled. Because other than getting rid of Fauci would have been a good move. But
yeah.
So
I'll be honest with you once again. I think that the American people deserve a lot of credit for us, how far we've come in the last 4 years.
Sure.
I think that we should at least acknowledge how far we've come without trying to give credit to any political party or administration.
Good point.
Our economy is doing pretty good, guys. I mean, I ain't going to give nobody credit for that, but the American people, the people who get up and go to work every day, and the people, it takes a country to make that happen. No president can just flip a switch and do it. I feel like that's something we've lost during the political during the campaigns is how much credit America deserves for the last 4 years. You know, we don't have to put a gold star on Joe Biden for it. He's not solely responsible for what happened. Mm-hmm. He may have had, you know, some hand in it from their point of view, but, you know, the American people deserve the credit for that, no matter what political party they are affiliated with mm-hmm. or not affiliated. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. That was one thing I wanted to say today, you know.
Okay.
I will say that I loved it, that we brought back, you know, I hate to beat this horse, but that today is going to be a celebration and not a riot.
You know, what I'm and Theo all upset about having to have it inside, and that the people are going to be left standing outside. You know, I'm sorry.
You take a chance when you go.
For me,
I hate to say that.
I'm not concerned about the people in this case. I'm sorry about that, but you know, that's neither here nor there. It could have been pouring rain and freezing rain, or just a cold rain, and they wouldn't have gone then either. But the thing that I'm looking at, it would be the same thing that I am sure every Secret Service agent
has the nightmares about.
Is saying, thank God.
Yes.
I mean, a man who was the target of 2 attempts while he was running for office was going to be putting himself out there with a significant number of almost half the people in this country not voting for him, not liking him. That was just a target. That was just an absolute target.
Everybody had big, heavy winter coats on, easily concealed, you know, be able to conceal things. Honestly, I think that's something that's, people are making a big deal out of. They shouldn't. You got to ask yourself, is it reasonable that they moved it inside? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It is. They didn't move it inside for that reason. I'm just saying that the Secret Service guys are breathing a sigh of relief.
A sigh of relief, for sure. Anytime that he's going to be in the public, I'm sure they are. You know, it's got to make them nervous, especially for the people that's got to stand up in front of him.
It made me nervous just thinking about it. I'm like,
right.
Well, just right now, I just got an update.
Yeah, we're done with all that. I hope that's the last we hear of that stuff.
Yes, sir. You know, I hope so too, Steve. I'm just ready for things to get back to being.
Secret Service won't be taking it with a grain of salt, though, for the next 4 years.
No.
So, but I mean, I feel for them.
Yeah. But anyway, y'all try and stay warm.
Thank you too, Steve.
Yeah, we're going through the blizzard of 2025.
The apocalypse.
Flurries.
Honestly, I won't worry till they back the snow totals down to
that's
like a
what I said. That's exactly what I said.
Now I'm nervous.
I haven't looked at the latest. The last I saw was 1 to 3, and that was after they said we were getting nothing. So.
Now it's going to be 8 to 10.
Yeah, well, when they were saying 10 inches of snow, I was laughing. Told my wife, I said, "Yeah, it probably ain't even gonna snow now."
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, but now that they backed it down, I'm nervous again.
Well, we're on the same page there.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. By tomorrow, we should know.
Yeah, we will.
Well, yeah, I hope so. But just breaking news right now.
Okay, bye.
The weather in DC is 23 degrees with winds at 12 miles an hour. And it's expected a high of 25 today. So,
well, we already surpassed that. We're at 29.
I don't care if it was 40 degrees. I'm still not going out.
I'm not going out there. I don't want to. I'm not going to go into crowds in the first place. What can I see? Bring me some binoculars that'll get snowed over or fogged up. Come on.
Not when you can just sit there in the comfort of your home. You haven't had to fight crowds. You don't have to worry about gunfire anywhere. Yeah. Nowadays, you have to worry about gunfire everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you imagine? There's that guy that drives around town here, and I forgot what car he's driving, but he lets off the gas and he goes, pop, 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 pop. Oh. It sounds like semi-automatic fire. And he does it on purpose. And I think he set his stuff up to be that way. or it happened and he's not fixing it.
He's either got friends or he lives in Northwoods, because believe me.
Well, he travels all over.
God.
He travels Piney Green Road regularly.
Every time he goes by, I hit the floor. Go ahead.
But can you imagine him driving in D.C.? The boy would, oh my God, they'd probably open fire on him first. Ask questions later.
I know it. Well, the Secret Service, they have a tough job at any inauguration, all the past ones, but I would say particularly this one, because there's already been 2 attempts made on Trump.
Yeah.
So, they're going to try to do what they're going to. And Friday, he's going to L.A., where the fires were. Are. Yes, he's going to go visit. I don't know. I would stay locked up for a little while. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I don't know what he can do out there. It's nice to go out and take a quick look to get a gander of what's going on. Being on the ground is not going to show him much.
Right.
Take care. Marine One, fly over the area when you're there, and then you can meet with the people on the ground. Meet with some of the firefighters and what's going on there. That's a major issue for California. Not to make light of it,
right?
But that's it's not an annual event, but it does happen on a regular basis. Did Newsom is he responsible for this thing? No, you're not responsible for it.
But it is devastating. A lot of people lost their lives and lost their homes.
I don't know what the death
just
count
like
is now.
Last I heard it was 27.
That was last week. Yeah, I don't know anything now. But thousands of homes been destroyed. People's lives have been ruined. It's their futures, and unfortunately, it doesn't matter. Just a fact of life. The publicity has been gotten by the people who are the high and mighty, the elite, the actors.
Okay, they've not updated since 3 days ago. 27 deaths recorded, at least 36 missing.
But these people are screaming and hollering, and they're blaming Newsom. Okay, we got to find somebody to blame. It's okay, blame Newsom. It's all right. First of all, he deserves enough blame for everything else. But for the starting the fire, could he have taken action, or should he have taken? Everybody will look at an event, a tragic event, after the fact, and find somebody else to blame.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what else are you going to do?
There's so much blame going around and on fires.
You're not going to take responsibility for building a house up there in that fire-prone zone. You're not going to take the responsibility for building a home on the beach that is a volatile location. You're not going to take it's not my fault. I didn't cause that hurricane.
You get out there and build it on the water, and then you wonder why we had a hurricane and it took it out. I have no sympathy for you.
None.
It's your decision, your choice.
I hate it for you, but you lost it. But you built in a volatile area.
Yeah, don't make me pay for it.
I found some 16 millimeter film that I've got to find somebody to transfer it, because it shows what occurred at North Topsail Beach back in the 80s or late 70s. I've got whole roll of 16 millimeter film over there, 400-foot roll. That's got footage that I shot of a man bulldozing down the sand dunes up there so he could develop. Right. He moved the beach closer to the ocean so he could have oceanfront land to develop. You know that, right? Right. He got cited by the Corps of Engineers time and again and again and again and again. And all he ever said was, it's the cost of doing business. And he kept doing it. But I've got the film that I just found yesterday. So wait till I get that transferred.
Oh, gosh.
And circulate it.
You need a dark room. I used to do that.
It's 16 millimeter film. You can't process that. Motion picture film.
Oh.
It's TV film.
That would be so
not videotape. Cool. I want it transferred over to digital. Look, there are companies that do it, but I just got to find one to trust.
Tomorrow, I need to get our state commissioner to call in about this new insurance rate that our insurance commissioner. He effectively put a cap on the previously proposed steep hike in homeowners' insurance rates. In the announcement reported by the North Carolina Department of Insurance, the original staggering average increase of 42.2% has been negotiated down to a much more reasonable 7.5% raise spread over the next 2 years. Because remember, these insurance companies were wanting 42% for like us sitting right here, 99% of those on the beach.
Okay, word late breaking is Biden has pardoned Dr. Fauci
Yes.
and the January 6th committee members.
The committee members, yes. I
Pardoned
had
them
that
for
on the
what?
side. So that went
The committee
um
who were investigating what everybody's calling the insurrection?
and General Milley too. He pardoned him. It's preemptive. They're preemptive pardons.
No, they need to change it. No president as a lame duck
Right.
or after the November election should ever, regardless of the outcome,
Right.
should ever be able to pardon anyone.
Well, they're afraid that Trump is going to target them once he becomes president.
If they deserve it, then fine.
And of course, you know,
I mean, they targeted Trump after the November
we know
election of 2020,
that.
did they not?
Yes.
They targeted Trump.
Well, you know, some of these public servants, some of these that have been, you know, like on the committee, like General Milley, they have been subjected to ongoing threats and intimidation.
Sure.
And so for faithfully discharging their duties according to what the Biden said.
In their minds, yes.
And so, you know, Trump's 2024 campaign repeatedly vowed retribution on his political enemies. So he is preemptively pardoning these people. I don't think Trump's going to go after. I don't.
He's got way too much else to do, folks.
Yes.
I hope he doesn't. I hope he's got a lot to do dealing with what we want. We the people put him in there for one reason. We the people, and I'm not saying we as in me. I'm saying we the people, the majority of the people in this country, secure the blasted border and to fix the economy. That's second on the list.
Oh, I'm right there with you. That's
the only reason he's in office is to do that.
1.5 dozen eggs yesterday. $6.
I've had that. I paid that much.
And the shelves were
$5.79 for a dozen.
Half full yesterday at the store I went to.
$5.79 a dozen.
God, it's ridiculous. They're saying it's the bird flu.
Bull. Did that happen 6 months ago or a year ago? That was high then.
Yeah,
we're getting higher.
I agree with you.
We'll be in here tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, maybe.
Yeah, I know we'll be here. The weather's not supposed to start till tomorrow night, of course.
I might not get up. I might not feel like it. I may have something else on my mind.
Well, no, you have a nice, warm, toasty house now. You're going to go get in your PJs. You're going to get your hot chocolate. You're going to get up in your recliner, get ready to watch the inauguration.
If I get in my PJs, I'll freeze to death.
You'll sleep.
You're live and local.
We didn't need to hear that.
I completely stopped her, didn't I? You're live and local, Real Talk, where we're always awake. We're never woke. We'll see you at 7 in the morning. Be safe out there and get ready. Do what Meredith Kroom said. If you got some plants and things, go ahead and get those dang things wrapped up. Stuff that you need to. Just ensure that they'll be safe because that wind chill is going to be down in the single digits. See you at 7.
Keep your pets in.
Keep your pants in.
Pets.